last lecture we have discussed the continuity and some of the properties. Now from this lecture we are going to discuss the uniform continuity and some of the application of uniform continuity. So what we have discussed in continuity, a function which is defined from A to R is called continuous function at A belongs to A. So whenever we are discussing the continuity of a function, it is always point based property, and if for every epsilon greater than 0 there is a delta greater than 0, so the adjacence of this delta is depending on A and also depending on epsilon, that is this is basically can be function of A and epsilon, such that the distance between images fx and fa must be some less than epsilon whenever the distance between x and a is less than delta. So a function which is defined from a to r is continuous. So continuity is always a point based property and the existence of this delta always depending on a and epsilon. Whereas whenever we are defining the uniform continuity, so uniformly continuous function. So a function which is defined from a set A to R is called uniform or uniformly continuous on A. So whenever we are defining the uniform continuity is always domain based property. If for every epsilon greater than 0 there is a delta greater than 0, so the existence of delta is only function of epsilon, that is depending on epsilon only, such that the distance between images fx and fy is less than epsilon whenever the distance between x and y is less than delta, and this holds for all x and y belonging to A. So the adjacence of delta is not depending on this point x and y, it is only depending on this epsilon. For example, if you will take f of x is equal to simply 1 by x and say x belonging to close 1 to infinity. Now we have to verify whether this is uniform continuous or not. So whenever we have to verify uniform continuity, just find the image fx minus fy and do some calculation. So this is equal to 1 by x minus 1 by y, which is the same as mod of x minus y upon x into y, and where x and y belonging to close 1 and open infinity implies x is greater than or equal to 1, y is greater than or equal to 1, implies x into y also greater than or equal to 1. So this implies 1 upon x into y is less than or equal to 1. So if you will replace 1 upon x into y with 1, so this quantity is less than or equal to mod of x minus y. Now for all epsilon greater than 0, we have to find the delta. So define delta is equal to epsilon. Now if mod of x minus y is less than delta, or f of x minus fy is less than or equal to mod of x minus y, so this obviously implies f of x minus f of y is less than epsilon, which is equal to delta. So whenever x minus y is less than delta, fx minus fy is also less than epsilon. That is, this function is uniform continuous on this thing. So just by definition, fx is equal to 1 by x is uniform continuous on this thing. Now the sequential criteria for a function to be uniform continuous. So how to prove with the help of a sequence? So the necessary and sufficient condition for a function to be uniform continuous. So if f is a function which is defined from a to r, p of function, then f is uniformly continuous function on A if and only if for every sequence En and Bn defined on A. So for every sequence En and Bn which are defined on A such that the distance between En and Bn tends to 0 as n tends to infinity, this must implies the distance between images f of an, f of bn must be tends to 0. As if we will replace x by en and y by bn, this distance tends to 0 implies this distance also tends to 0. By definition, you can easily prove this statement. So a function defined on a domain A, where A can be any set, may be closed, bounded or unbounded, no restriction. So a function defined on domain A is a uniformly continuous if and only if whenever En minus Bn converges to 0 implies f of En minus f of Bn converges to 0, and this property should hold for every En and Bn. Okay. So how to use this statement? For example, if we will take f of x is equal to 1 by x again, f of x is 1 by x, but in this case x is belonging to 0 to close 1. Now we have to verify whether this function is a uniform continuous function on this region or not. So if we will define an is equal to 1 by n, definitely defined on this region, and bn is equal to 1 by n plus 1. an and bn are two sequences. Now f of an is equal to n, f of bn is equal to n plus 1. Now the distance between an minus bn, since an converges to 0, bn converges to 0, so this definitely converges to 0. But the distance between images fan and fbn is equal to 1, which is not converging to 0. So we have two sequences en and bn such that an minus bn converges to 0, but fan minus fbn does not converge to 0, implies this f is not uniformly continuous on 0 to 1, or we can also use any a in which 0 is the limit point. Then definitely we can define a sequence of the form 1 by n, bn of the form 1 by n plus 1, which converges to 0, but an minus bn also converges to 0, but this image is not converges to 0. So any region in which 0 is a limit point, on that region this fx equal to 1 by x is not a limit point. So we can write down Chernow's case for fx equal to 1 by x. So f of x is equal to 1 by x for all x belongs to a, but 0 does not belong to a, otherwise this function is not defined. Then f is not uniformly continuous on a if 0 belongs to a dash, that is 0 is a limit point of a dash, then this is never uniformly continuous, because we can always define the sequence of this form or similar to this form such that this difference is converges to 0, but this difference is not converges to 0. So any region in which 0 is a limit point, on this region fx equal to 1 by x is not uniform continuous. Next, another example is if we will take f of x is equal to sine of x square. f of x is equal to sine of x square. And say x belonging to whole real line. Now we have to verify the region on which this function is uniformly continuous. So if we will define an is equal to square root of n pi. So this is a sequence defined on real line. Bn is equal to square root of 2n plus 1 pi by 2. Also Bn is defined on real line. Now the distance between an and bn is square root of n pi plus or minus square root of 2n plus 1 pi by 2. Just rationalize this term. You can easily verify this is converges to as I tested. Now f of an is a sin n pi, which is a 0. F of bn is a sin 2n plus 1 pi by 2, which is plus minus 1 depending on n. So this implies the distance between fan minus f of bn is equal to 1, which is does not tends to 0. So an minus bn is converges to 0, but fan minus fbn mode of this not converges to 0. Hence this function is not uniform convergent on this real line. So second example, so this f of x is not uniformly continuous on R. But this f of x is a continuous function. So we have an example. If f is say defined from a to r, then obviously first statement, if f is a uniform continuous, so if f is a uniformly continuous, on a, so this obviously implies for all a belongs to a, f is continuous function. This by definition, every uniform continuous function is always a continuous function. But this is an example of a continuous function which is not a uniform continuous. So if f defined or if f is a continuous function, does not implies f is uniformly continuous. So continuity of a function does not implies uniform continuity of the function. Or similarly, this function is continuous as well as bounded. So continuity plus boundness does not implies uniform continuous. So continuity of a function or boundness of the function, these both simultaneously does not implies your function is uniform continuous. Let's take another example. F of x is equal to say x square. Again x belongs to real line. Just we have to identify whether this function is a uniform continuous or real line or non-uniform continuous. So if we will draw the graph of this function, just geometrically, what is the meaning of the uniform continuity? If we will draw the graph of this function, and as x and y, say this is x or this is y, and x and y both tends to plus infinity. For example, if we will take x and y in this point, so this point is f of x, and at this point this distance is f of y. So if x and y is a mod of x minus y is a less than delta, so we can say that this is less than some epsilon. But if x and y tends to infinity, say this is x and this is y, so in this case So this is f of x and this is f of y. So as x and y tends to infinity and we can take x minus y tends to 0, but the distance between fx and fy is not tending to 0. So definitely as we are tending to infinity, if your function is parallel to y-axis, then that can be the point of non-uniform continuity. So geometrically, whenever the line parallel to y-axis is asymptote to your curve, then that region in which that line is asymptote the possible point of uniform continuity. For example, in this case, whenever x is tending to infinity, where the line parallel to y-axis is asymptote or parallel to y-axis, or slope of the curve is tending to plus of t, and in that case your function is not uniformly continuous, or possible points where this is not uniform continuous. So based on this calculation, we can consider some of the sequence. Say an is equal to square root of n. This sequence is tends to infinity. So we have to pick two sequences. Both are tending to infinity, but the difference should tends to 0. So take an equal to this one, and bn is equal to square root of n plus 1. So definitely an minus bn, just rationalize, you will get this one. And f of an minus f of bn mod of this is equal to 1, which is not tends to 0. So that is, this function is again not a uniform continuous function on whole real line. So we have three examples. Fx equal to 1 by x. This is not uniform on any region in which 0 is the limit point. Fx equal to sine x square. This is not uniform on whole real line. Or fx equal to x square. This is also not uniform on whole real line. Next one is the relationship between Cauchy sequence and uniform continuity. So let's take f is a function defined from a set A to R, be any function, and consider P statement. So P statement is if f is uniformly continuous. So if f is a uniformly continuous function on E, so your function is uniformly continuous on A, this implies image of every Cauchy sequence in A is Cauchy sequence in R. So with respect to f, the image of every Cauchy sequence in A is a Cauchy sequence in R. And Q statement is if image of every Cauchy sequence, so if image of every Cauchy sequence in A is Cauchy sequence in R, so image of every Cauchy sequence in A is a Cauchy sequence in R with respect to this function A, then this implies f is uniformly continuous function. So we have to verify whether this P is true or not, Q is true or not, or whether both are true or both are false. So for second statement, if we will take the function fx equal to x square, we have already discussed that f of x is equal to x square with x belonging to real line. That is, this is a function defined from R to R, is not uniform continuous. So this function is not uniform continuous. But if we will take A and B any Cauchy sequence in R, so AN is any Cauchy sequence in R. So since the real line is a complete space, though every Cauchy sequence is a convergent or convergent sequence is Cauchy. So this implies AN must be converges to A for some A belongs to R. Since every Cauchy sequence in real line is convergent sequence. Now AN is converges to A, so product of two sequence is also convergent. So AN square is converges to A square, and AN square is representing F of AN. So this implies F of AN converges to A square in R. And in R, every convergent sequence is a Cauchy sequence. So this implies F of AN is Cauchy sequence in R. So in this case, the image of every Cauchy sequence under this function is a Cauchy sequence, but this function is not a uniform continuous. So that is, your Q statement is a false statement. Whenever image of every Cauchy sequence is Cauchy, this does not imply your function is uniformly continuous function. Let's come to P statement. What is P statement is, if f is a uniformly continuous function on A, then we have to verify whether image of a Cauchy sequence is Cauchy under this function or not. So since f is uniformly continuous on A, so by definition for every epsilon greater than 0 there is a delta greater than 0 such that the distance between images fx and fy less than epsilon whenever distance between x and y is less than delta, and this property holds for all x and y belonging to A. So just definition of uniform continuity. Now if A and B any Cauchy sequence in A, so we have to prove that the image of a Cauchy sequence in A under F is always Cauchy, if this statement is true. So if An is a Cauchy sequence in A, then by definition of a Cauchy sequence for every delta greater than 0 there is m belongs to natural number such that the distance between n atom and m atom must be less than delta for all n greater than or equal to n. Now An is a sequence which is defined on A, that is each An belongs to A or whenever distance between x and y is less than delta. So say this is x and this is y, so this distance is less than delta, so then distance between fx and fy must be less than epsilon. So this implies distance between f of An and f of Bn, f of An is less than epsilon for all n greater than or equal to. So what we have proved that for every epsilon greater than 0 there exists n belongs to natural number such that the distance between n atom of Fan and the distance between m atom of Fem is less than epsilon. That is, the sequence f of An is Cauchy sequence in real life. So the image of a Cauchy sequence under a uniform continuous function is always Cauchy sequence. So this statement is true for any f which is defined from A to R and it is a uniform continuous. But the converse part is not true whenever we have taken that example fx equal to x which is defined from R to R. Now what is the condition such that this Q statement is true? So for Q to be true, if your function f is any function which is defined from a to r and extra information is a is a bounded. So f is a function defined from a to r and a is a bounded, then what is conclusion? Then f is uniformly continuous. On a, if and only if the image of every Cauchy sequence in A is Cauchy sequence in R. So this statement is not true whenever your domain need not be true whenever your domain of function is not bounded. We have taken the example fx equal to x square. That is not uniform, but image of every Cauchy sequence under this function is Cauchy. But whenever your domain of the function is bounded, then the converse part of last statement is also true. That is, a function is uniformly continuous if and only if image of every Cauchy sequence is Cauchy in the Cauchy under the given function. So just try to prove this statement. This is your homework. What is the effect whenever this image of every Cauchy sequence implies Cauchy, implies that this is uniform. Just try to find the effect of this boundness so that this statement is true. Next one is the relation between uniform continuity on a compact set. So if f is a function, say defined from a to r, and a is compact set. F is a function which is defined from a to r and a is a compact set. Then what is the necessary condition or sufficient condition for f to be uniform continuous? So f is uniform or uniformly continuous on A if and only if f is continuous on P. So the continuity is only sufficient condition for a f to be uniform continuous whenever your function is defined on a compact set. So simple, whenever f is uniform continuous, obviously f must be a continuous. So what we have to prove? Converse part. Whenever f is continuous on a compact set, then it must be uniform continuous. So let f, which is defined from a to r, is a continuous function and a is a compact set. So our set is a subset of real line is compact if and only if it is closed and bounded. That is, A is closed and bounded. Now, since A is bounded, then by this statement, a function from A to R, whenever A is bounded, uniform continuous if and only if image of every Cauchy sequence under this function is Cauchy sequence. So let A and B any Cauchy sequence on A. Now since A is a compact, so definitely AN is convergent in A. That is, AN converges to some A and A must be belonging to. Since its set is closed, so every limit point of the set contained in this. So just definition of a convergent sequence or definition of a compact set. Next one is, since AN is converges to A and A is a member of capital A and F is a continuous function on A. So by sequential definition of a continuity, F of AN must be converges to F of implies f of en is a Cauchy sequence. Since every convergent sequence is a Cauchy sequence. So whenever an is a Cauchy sequence in A, implies Fan is a Cauchy sequence in A, and your function is defined on a bounded set, implies f is uniformly continuous function on. So this is the simple proof. A continuous function on a compact set must be uniform continuous. Or the particular case of this is if a function defined on a closed interval of a finite length, and then it is uniform continuous if and only if it is continuous function. So the particular case of this last statement, if f of x is, or f is a function which is defined from a closed interval ab to real line, for a and b belongs to R, then f is uniformly continuous on A if and only if uniformly continuous on closed interval AB if and only if f is continuous function on the closed interval A. Just the particular case of this set. Since closed interval of a finite length is closed and bounded, so definitely it must be a compact set. So now with the help of this concept, we can define the uniform continuity on open interval. So if f is a function, say defined from open interval AB to R, be a, say, continuous function. So we are taking any continuous function which is defined from an open interval AB to R. Then define a function g from closed interval AB to R. Sorry, f is a continuous function from closed interval AB to R, and the extra information is limit x tends to a plus f of x. Say this is L1 exists, and also limit x tends to b minus f of x. Say this is L2 again exists. So these both of the limit exist. So a function is continuous on open interval AB, and the at end point one side limit must exist. At A right hand limit, at B left hand limit. Then we can define a function which is g defined from closed interval AB to R, such that g of x is same as f of x whenever x is a member of open interval AB, and L1 whenever x is equal to b, and L2 whenever x is equal to b. So definitely this g is continuous function on closed interval AB, implies g is uniformly continuous function on closed interval AB. Or if g is a uniform continuous function on closed interval AB and f is a restriction of g on open interval AB, so obviously implies f is uniformly continuous function on open interval AB. So what we have proved that if a function is defined on open interval AB, and the limit at A, right hand limit at A and left hand limit at B exist, then we can extend a function g which is defined on a closed interval AB, and it must be uniform continuous. Or f is also uniform continuous. And converse part is obviously if f is a uniform continuous, then f is continuous function on open interval ab, and it must limit at a and limit at b, or right hand limit or left hand limit at a and b must exist. So we have a statement: if f is a function which is defined on open interval ab to r and right hand limit at a, left hand limit at b exists if and only if f is uniformly continuous on open interval. So this is the necessary and sufficient condition for a function to be uniform continuous on open interval AB. So let's take an example. Say f of x is equal to 1 by x into sine of x, with x is belonging to open 0. We have to identify whether this is uniform or not uniform. So if we will take a limit x tends, obviously f is continuous on open 0 1. Since 1 by x is continuous, sin x is continuous, or product of two continuous function is continuous. And if we will find limit x tends to 0 plus f of x, then it must be the expansion of this function. Limit x tends to 0 plus 1 by x, this is x minus x2 by 3 factorial, x5 by 5 factorial, and so on. And as x tends to 0, this value must be equal to 1. So limit of this function at 0 exists, and similarly limit at 1 is also exists. So limit x tends to 1 minus f of x, obviously equal to sine of 1. So both left hand limit at b and right hand limit at a exist, and function is a continuous, implies this f is uniformly continuous function on this f is uniformly continuous function on the given interval a. If we will take another example, f of x says sine 1 by x belonging to say open 0 1. Now limit x tends to 0 plus f of x. As x tends to 0, this value oscillate between 0 and 1 and minus 1. So this does not exist. So limit as x tends to 0 plus f of x does not exist, implies f is not uniform continuous on 0 2. So whenever we have to find uniform continuity on open interval AB, then necessary and sufficient condition is f should be continuous on open interval AB, and the right hand limit at A and left hand limit at B must exist. And similarly, we can also prove that if f is a function, say defined from real line to real line, be a continuous function such that limit mod of x tends to infinity, f of x exists. That is, as x tends to infinity and as x tends to minus infinity, these both limit exist finitely. So this always implies f is uniformly continuous function on whole real line R. So if fx is this one and its limit at infinity and minus infinity exists, then it must be uniform continuous on R. For example, if we will pick f of x is equal to say e to the power minus x square. F of x is equal to e to the power minus x square. and say x belonging to R. Then geometrically we can write one e to the power minus x square is the same as e to the power minus t, where t is equal to x square. Thus we are drawing the graph of this function. Now as x tends to infinity implies t tends to infinity implies e to the power minus t tends to 0. As x tends to minus infinity implies t tends to infinity, because t is equal to x square, implies e to the power minus t also tends to 0. Or at x equal to 0, e to the power minus x square is equal to 1. So if we will draw the approximate graph of this function, at 0 value of a function is 1. As x tends to infinity, function tends to 0. As x tends to minus infinity, function also tends to 0. So this is the graph of e to the power minus x square. So this function is a continuous function on a whole real line, and at infinity and minus infinity limit exists finitely implies this function is uniformly continuous. So uniformly continuous function on whole real line. So whenever this limit exists finitely, then f must be uniformly continuous function. But converse of this is not true. That is, if f is uniformly continuous on R, this does not implies limit x tends to infinity or mod of x tends to infinity f of x exists. So this statement is one side statement, but if this statement is defined on open interval with finite length, then at end point left hand limit and right hand limit must exist finitely. That statement is necessary and sufficient condition, but this condition is one side condition. Simple example, if we will take f of x is equal to x, then or x belonging to real line, then mod of fx minus f of y obviously equal to mod of x minus y. So simply for all epsilon greater than 0 define delta equal to epsilon. Now if mod of x minus y less than delta and this quantity is same as this quantity, so this implies fx minus fy is less than epsilon, which is equal to delta. Hence this function is uniform continuous on whole real line, but limit at infinity and limit at minus infinity does not exist. So whenever your function is defined on real line and limit at infinity and minus infinity exist finitely, then function guaranteed to be uniform continuous. But if it is a uniform continuous, it does not imply limit at infinity or minus infinity exists. So this is an example. And next, let's take some of the examples. First one, if we will take f of x is equal to x, which is defined from real line to real line, and g of x is again x, again defined from real line to real line. So f and g function both are defined from real line to real line. Now if we will take f into g of x, simple product of this function, which is equal to x square, defined from real line to real line. So some of the standard example, fx equal to x and g of x is also equal to x, and f into g is x square, which is defined from R to R. Now what is important in this example? F and g both are uniform continuous function on R, but f into g is not uniform continuous function. So that is, the product of two uniform continuous function need not be uniform continuous function. So f is uniform, g is uniform, but f into g is not uniform. Another example, if you will take f of x, again x, say defined from R to R, and g of x is say sine of x, again defined from real line to real line. You can easily verify this f and g are uniform continuous on R, and this g is a function definitely bounded function. So basically, if there is a statement f is a uniform continuous and g is a uniform continuous and bounded, then f into g is uniform continuous, whether this statement is a true or false. So for that statement, if we will consider fx equal to x, which is uniform continuous, g is equal to sine x, which is also uniform continuous, and g is a bounded. Now if we will consider f into g of x, say this is hx, which is x time sine of x, also defined from real line to real line. Now we have to verify whether this is uniform or non-uniform continuous. So if we will take a sequence an is equal to 2n pi, so definitely f of an is equal to 0 and bn is 1 by n plus 2n pi. So this implies f of bn, which is 1 by n plus 2n pi into sine of 1 by n plus 2n pi. So this, if you will simplify this f of bn, so this is 1 by n into sine 1 by n plus 2n pi, or n it outside, into sine 1 by n upon 1 by n. So simply sine 1 by n plus 2n pi is a sine 1 by n, and just separate this terms. So as n tends to infinity, this term tends to 0 and this term tends to 2 pi, because this value tends to this one. So f of bn is tending to 2 pi. Now if we will find the mode of an minus bn, which is obviously 1 by n, is converges to 0, and mode of f of an and f of bn, which is equal to 2 pi, and non-converges to 0. So we have a function fx equal to x, which is uniform continuous, gx is a sine x, which is uniform continuous and bounded, but f into g is not uniform continuous. So basically, product of two uniform continuous function with at least one bounded need not be uniform continuous, or the product of two uniform continuous need not be uniform continuous. But if both of the functions are bounded and uniform continuous, then product must be uniform continuous. So this is an important statement. If f and g both are functions say defined from R to R, uniform continuous, so f and g both are functions defined from R to R and both are uniform continuous function, and f and g both are bounded, then always implies f into g of f into g also uniform continuous function. So the product of two uniform continuous function is uniform continuous provided both of the functions are bounded. Just try to prove with the help of a sequential definition. You can easily prove this technique. And finally, what about the composition of two functions? If f is uniform, g is uniform, then what about f for g? So let f and g, again defined from real line to real line, are uniform continuous function. f and g both functions which are defined from real line to real line and both are uniform continuous. And let's take h of x, which is f of g of x. Obviously this is also defined from R to R. Now we have to verify whether this is uniform or not uniform. So let's try with the definition. Mod of hx minus h of y for any xy belongs to R. Thus we have to find this one. This is equal to mod of f of gx minus f of g of y, which can be written as mod of f of some u minus f of some v, where u is equal to g of x and v is equal to g of y. Now we have to check when for any epsilon greater than 0, whenever x minus y is less than x delta, then fx minus fy should be less than epsilon. So now for any epsilon greater than 0, since this g function is uniformly continuous function, g function is a uniformly continuous, so for any epsilon greater than 0, there exists some delta 1 which is greater than 0 such that, or for any delta greater than 0, there is a delta 1 greater than 0 such that if x minus y less than this delta 1 implies g of x minus g of y less than this delta. So for any delta greater than 0, there is delta 1 which is greater than 0 such that this is true. Now f is also uniform continuous. So for all epsilon greater than 0, there is a delta greater than 0 such that if whenever some u and v, the distance and u and v is less than delta, implies distance between f of u and f of v must be less than epsilon. For any epsilon greater than 0, there must exist some delta greater than 0 such that whenever this distance is less than this one, then this is also. Now if we will pick this delta, since this property holds for every delta and this is a particular delta, so whenever u minus v is a gx minus gy is less than delta, so obviously f of u minus f v less than delta. So for any epsilon greater than 0, there is a delta 1 greater than 0 such that whenever the distance between x minus y less than delta 1 implies the distance between f of g of x minus f of g of y is less than epsilon by using these two equality. So that is, if f is uniform, g is uniform, then composition of these two uniform continuous function is always uniform. There is no restriction on domain and codomain. So this must be uniform continuous. So the product of two uniform continuous function is uniform whenever or provided both of the function are bounded. But the composition of two uniform continuous function is always uniform. There is no restriction on function, no restriction on the domain. So basically this is the overall about the uniform continuum. In next lecture we will continue with the Lipschitz continuity, then the definition of differentiability, and finally we will define the relationship between differentiability and uniform continuity. Thank you.